Welcome to the Festival of Storytellers. I thank everybody that's involved with this process because we know writers need readers and writers need publishers.
Experience is not about the publisher, it is about us, the authors.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mark Anthony McCullogh. I'd like to welcome you today to my two books that I have written today. I have a little something for all ages, and I also written Inspiration and Reality. These are two wonderful books. First of all, I'm going to read to you some stories out of my Inspiration and Reality book. I hope you enjoyed them. There's lots of wonderful illustrations in Inspiration and Reality. There's several different stories in here I'm going to read to you today. There's some really nice illustrations as you see in here. In our book here. First of all, I'm going to read to you a wonderful little story in it. This is for children from K through 12 in this book. First of all, we're going to read a story called Helping Mom and Dad with the Big Bad Storm. Now, this is pertains to any storm in the country. This one was basically, oh, hi, Bob Montgomery. We'd like to welcome you today. This is it's like for hurricanes and such storms as this, we're trying to get little children to get involved in helping their parents prepare for storms. June through November is easy to remember when we have big bad storms. Sometimes we are lucky and they don't come, but sometimes they do. When one comes, this is what Mom and Dad will ask of you. Dad needs you to help holding the nails to give him for his task. Is using his hammer putting up wooden covers so the big bad storm won't break the glass. If they have any questions, just ask. Zuri Cho. Oh, you're here again. Thank you, Zuri. I'm glad you're back. This is the illustration that goes with that particular phrase in the poetry that I've written there. Now, Mom needs your help in many ways. First, by filling the bathtub with cold, clean water and gathering all the flashlights that you might need for days. When Mom and Dad go to the store, it's for what you need. Batteries, radio, items for the grill. That's like camping. Now that's a thrill. Mom and Dad will need your help to bring the water in so that everyone, including your pets, will be cozy within. If Mom and Dad gather things for the car, they need for you to be their shining star. For you might go to Grandma's house or somewhere else with friends. It won't be too far. If you stay home, Mom and Dad need you to be very still and not go outside to roam to be safe from the big bad storm inside your home. The big bad storm will be outside for just a little while, so give mom and dad a big kiss, hug, and a smile. The big bad storm will make lots of silly noise, almost like a baby throwing toys. Good afternoon, Timothy Moffat. Nice for you to be here with us today. Now, you can tell the big bad storm to go away, and then in a short time it will. Now, if you need to go with mom and dad deep inside the house, they will do little flashlight shows like a dog, butterfly, or mouse. If you get sleepy, that's okay to do, for mom and dad are safe with you. When this big bad storm disappears and gone away, it'll be a happy day. Things will look a little different when it's safe to go for you to go and play. You're a great little helper for mom and dad today, for they love you, for you chased the big bad storm away. Here's the illustration for that as well. The second story in the book is Love and Respect of Older People. I put this in here basically to help children understand the importance of elderly people and for them to love and respect them and to be a shining star with them. Love and respect older people. People over 55 have a lot to give, having the experience knowing how to live. The oldest among them, over 75, listen to their stories while they're still alive. Wisdom abounds while aging faces smile. Take a moment and sit with them for a while. There are some who sailed the 7 seas and seen a pirate or two. Some have a winning pie recipe they want to share with you. Oh, Chad Warren. Good afternoon, Mark. Hope the festival's been going well for you. It certainly has. It's great. It's a wonderful festival. Eleanor Lavelle, do you own your own those illustrations? Well, I actually thought of these illustrations in my head, and I gave them to the illustrator, and I told them exactly what to do, and they did it for me. So that's what they did. Many are veterans of foreign wars of times long past. They're eager to tell their stories. Time is going fast. Just like Grandma and Grandpa, they are there for you. One day you'll be elderly and want someone too. Love and respect older people. Make them a friend today. Visit a nursing home activity director and let them lead the way. Lots of ways to be a friend to anyone you meet. Remember to be considerate, kind, and sweet. That's what I did with that one for respecting older people. Now for the next one here is Fire is Not a Friend. And I have a little boy here with fire. And he's basically saying, go away, don't need you. Fire is not a friend. For adult supervision, for heating and for cooking, fire is for you, an object just for looking. Fire can burn your skin and make you hurt all over from end to end. Fire is not an enemy when used just right, but when it's not, fire is not a friend. Fire carelessly set can burn a forest floor. Fire spreads for many miles, hurting animals we adore. Fire makes us lose our home somewhere else. We have to go and spend. Fire is not a friend. Fire comes from matches and lighters, so please don't play. Fire from them goes out of control and ruins you or another's day. Fire puts people in jail at the very end. Fire is not a friend. Just little simple poems. Now I have some other ones here that are more or less in line with older children that are to junior high and high school level. But today I just want to read basically for the smaller children. So I'm sure that there are a lot of smaller kids that are perhaps listening in today. I have another story in here that is really cute. This is a little bit of a Christmas one. Since we're not too far away from having Christmas, I wanted to read it to you. It's called The Taming of Deer. Nothing more sincere than taming of deer, at least to natives of the far north near Santa Claus. It's never easy to do, but we must give thanks and pause. For thousands of years, tradition and nomadic life is colorfully displayed. They preserve and not easily dismayed. Nothing more sincere than taming of deer, the ropes, clicks and whistles capturing young bucks, thinning of herds. Communication is key, the dependence of certain words and sounds. Risk is involved, teeming of life abounds. Never a thrill of a kill nor a sound of hound, they only put down what they need. A minimum of survival indeed. Nothing more sincere than taming of deer when Santa Claus comes to adopt and choose. Either wild or tame, he is the same. With all nature, you can't lose. When you see deer grazing, do take pause. There are only two who care for them most, the great Creator above and dear old Santa Claus. Nothing more sincere than taming a deer. Just ask Dancer, Dasher, Prancer, Vixen, Comet, Cupid, Donner, and Blitzen. And that's in this book, a little something for all ages. There's other stories in this as well. You can go to Amazon.com or BarnesandNoble.com or to my website. It's the same for Inspiration and Reality. This is more of an adult level book for 18 and over. It's a really good book. It has no illustrations in it, but it has history in it that is in poetry. It has current events that are in poetry. It has inspiration in it as well. I'm doing great, Carolyn Nielsen. I hope you're having a great day too. Thank you for chiming in with me. I have some really neat little stories I'm going to share with you in this as well. First story I'd like to share with you in here. Since I live in Northeast Tennessee, I wanted to share a story with you in here. Stephanie T. Brennan, this is a very cute story. Did you like that story? I'm glad you did. Thank you, Stephanie. Bob Montgomery, where do you get much of your inspiration for writing? I get it from traveling. When in North Carolina, they have wild elk. And so I thought of elk and reindeer. And so I did a story based on reindeer. But elk and reindeer, they're cousins. So I did it for reindeer for children. So that's why I did the inspiration on that story that I just read as well. Thank you so much, Bob Montgomery. East Tennessee is now my home. I never get tired of the mountains from the flatland for which I came. There's something magical about the mountains for which I'll never be the same. East Tennessee is now my home. For I am glad. I enjoy the seasons. They never make me sad. Its people are so kind, a joy to be around. Their history, beliefs, and diversity, the skills put me on solid ground. The music is compelling, so warm and true. It makes you feel at home. It beacons to you. The sun rises in the morning and the sun sets at night. The warm apple pies and it tastes just right. The favorite fishing places no one knows about. The catch you need, the bass and bounty of trout. the creeks, forests, mountains, waterfalls, trails, and lakes, and have respect for God's country and all that it takes. East Tennessee is now my home, and this I'll give praise. To live, love, worship, and respect to the end of my days. Paula J. Foster, are children's stories your only focus? No. In fact, I'm reading this adult book now, and it's called East Tennessee is Now My Home, which I just read. And it's a regular poem. And it's all in this book, Inspiration and Reality. John D. Sachs, how is it being a member of the Academy of American Poets? I love it. We get a newsletter every month, and I get to see the poems that they have every day. I get to read them, and we get to vote on certain things, and it's just really good. Carolyn R. Nielsen, hello, Mark. What challenges did you face while writing your book, and how did you overcome them? Well, just certain things that were challenging, but I overcame them. There were some things that were historical in nature that were hard for me to write. It were the poetry didn't come to me so easily. I had to really work on it, and it took weeks, sometimes months, to do my poetry on some of the things in my book. So that's what I did with those. Zuri Cho, I'm curious, will you write a children's book in the future? With a lot of illustrations? Yeah, I will. I'm not sure when, but I will write another children's book, definitely. My next one, Bob Montgomery, thank you also for your words. Thank you so much, Bob Montgomery. Appreciate that. My next one is one about a fictional general, and it's setting in a Carolyn R. Nielsen. Hello, Mark. What challenges did you face while writing your book, and how did you overcome them? Well, the same thing I mentioned earlier. Just basically studying and getting back to the basics and overcoming them with study. Yes. Men are allowed to cry. There once was a soldier from our homeland who was known to show no emotion when in times of distress. He would watch his fellow soldiers one by one die around him. He saved the ones he could in battle and won his medals. Years later, our soldier would be general, an Iron Man indeed, never a want, care, or need. His wife by his side, his grown children grown. He lost his own son in battle, still no emotion shown. As the years went by, our general begins to crack. His physical and mental health doctors track. Depression ulcers heart and lungs from smoking. Stress from his final years of war kept the fire stoking. Retirement came early for the mighty man of steel. All the U.S. military brass in Washington toasted him, also surreal. People urged him to be president. He kindly put that down. Soon the hoopla ended. He was yesterday's news in this busy town. Now he faced the biggest battle of all his morality, the CAT scan and knife. His cancers were extensive of radiation, maybe 4 months in the final battle of his life. The Trojan horse took over. He said he looked at his wife. His eyes swelled up with tears. The tears were for regret, not for dying or fears. Lauren Walker, your writing is very homely, Mark. Has a calming rhythm to it. Thank you so much. Under the care of hospice, the general did the most heroic action of all. He apologized to his wife and remaining children for not being there for them. He told them that he truly loved them from the bottom of his heart. There were tears shed by all, as for the first time in his adult life felt free. Then he asked for a priest and remembered his choir boy prayers. He came back to his God with tears. The priest blessed him well. The brave general had a smile on his face when he came to die. This man, the soldier, was rescued from his hell. The moral of the story: one can live longer and be stronger when men are allowed to cry. It's a very serious poem and far from the children's poems I read that I have written. Another one in this book is When Will It End? When will it end, my friend? When will it end? Fire hose and fighting dogs, the jeering of hateful people. A black man who can't even go for a jog. When will it end, my brother? When will it end? Bullet holes in black men's backs, school shootings, horrific treatment of the mentally ill, unspeakable crimes in synagogue and mosque, Asians being attacked in subways, Mexican and Hispanics being horsewhipped at the border. Courageous one and all, ode to humanity. Hundreds of years have come and gone. It's taught to our young. Hang 'em high from the tallest tree for crimes they haven't done. When will it end, my sister? When will it end? Forced to sleep with the main man or else. Degraded with less pay so the kids can eat. Go to the back of the bus. This fountain's not for you. Falling down in line to vote in 95-degree heat because you're not allowed to give out water in today's Jim Crow. When will it end for all it's decent? When will it end? The restroom you can't go in, too far for yours, so you have to hold it. You can't hold it anymore. So you go where you can, away from roaming eyes. The cop sees you, and off you go to jail. So just go soiled and get laughed at it and clean up when you go home. After 64 Rosa Parks, some things ended, or did they really? Less pay still lingers in the pockets. Poverty hurts so many. Leonard Brown, we need more of this kind of writing, which is more grounded. Thank you so much. Less pay still lingers in the pockets. Poverty hurts so many. Where is heat in winter in drafty homes? Where is coolness in summer when no fans and no air? The children and the elderly take the brunt of this plight. Mom and dads of all races working 2 and 3 jobs, low-paying jobs each. Where is mom and dad and grandma? When will it end? When will it end? The tent cities make Haiti look like the country club. No job unless you have an address. No address unless you have a job. Don't want no low-income households in my neighborhood. Why don't these people get a job? I'd hire them if they get a place to live. America, America, God shed his grace on thee. Our pledge says liberty and justice for all. Jesus, sweet Jesus, when will it end? That's that particular poem that I have written. We'll go to another one that I have that's a little bit more light. I think we're going to go a little bit more light on this one. It's The Haunting of Sarah Blue. Words can't describe the haunting of the horror due with the haunting of Sarah Blue. People say it wasn't true. Relentless taunting of Sarah Blue. She could see what no one else could. She was chased from where she stood. She could hear the sounds of voices that influenced all her choices. This went on for 20 years with the judgment of her peers in the big plantation house just by the bridge at the place that's called Mountain Ridge. Her harpsichord played a haunting melody around midnight or so. Then in an instant you could see her shadow and another at toe. This night was different, so still. It seemed when you hear a female scream some no's, then nothing but the rushing of the stream and the steady wind that blows. Never a sign, Sarah Blue, even to this day. Maybe she left another place in some special way. Or maybe, just maybe, she is at Mountain Ridge haunting someone else today. The Haunting of Sarah Blue. We have just a few minutes left. I wanted to tell you about another story that's in here. I don't have time to read it because it's going to take more than 5 minutes. But it's called The True Story of Two Pilots. 20 years after 9/11, two pilots came out and gave their story about them being summoned to do a kamikaze flight. They were going to end their lives striking down Flight 93 before they hit the Pentagon. One plane or jet was going to hit the nose of Flight 93, and the other one was going to hit the tail of Flight 93. And they were going to go down with the Flight 93 before the passengers did what they did heroically. And so when they found out that what they did on Flight 93, they abandoned their mission and came back home. So heroic were those two people, those two pilots. And it's in here, the story of two pilots. So really, it's a great book, Inspiration and Reality, and a little something for all ages. Make sure to get these two books today. And I was just basically going to try to see if I can find something really short that might be really quick here. And it's an inspirational one. It's called Thou Art With Me. The highest mountain majesty created by thee, deepest depths of ocean blue, thou art with me. When on a mountain free, when things are right, your strength is my delight, thou art with me. I was blind, now I see. All creation by hands divine. I am yours and you are mine, thou art with me. My talents I give to thee, both day and night. The glory is my might, thou art with me. Help me be free in me each and every day, for I will boldly say, thou art with me. Help my foes to see what Christians do. Tug their hearts and let them do, thou art with me. Stephanie T. Brennan, your portrayal of recent events really gets to the heart of things. Well, I do appreciate that. And there are other stories in that book as well that are similar. I have another one that's really touching about Emmett Till, and it's an older one, but it still strikes today. It's really touching, a touching poem, and I have one about George Floyd as well. And people say, well, how can you write a poem about George Floyd? Well, it's hard. It's really hard to do because it tugs at you. But it's also, you have to write about history or it disappears. People need to know history before they know the future. You got to keep history with you. I really like to thank you all for being with us today, and I hope you have a great afternoon and evening. And I'd like to say to you a goodbye and have a great afternoon. Thank you for joining us.